What's happening, y'all? It's your man Sam, and here at Viral Hip Hop News. Listen, do me a favor. You see the brother right now on your screen. Go down to my description box and follow Chakra Doctor at Chakra Doctor TV on YouTube. Your only place to find miracle food.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. I'm your brother O-God from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man Sam, and CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, and you're in the building for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast because we got to our right-hand side in the motherfucking building. None other than the Devin Wade show. We got our brother Porter Rich.
Yeah.
Man, Devin Wade. What up?
What up?
Good with y'all.
What's up?
Yo, we happy to be here, man. What's good?
We on the other side tonight.
I know.
We're getting y'all drunk this time.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm getting myself drunk.
We're getting all nervous. I'm like, oh, okay.
Too, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Taking care of us, food, everything, man. We appreciate it, man.
Right, brother. Indeed, man. So how y'all feeling, man, coming all the way from not too far with Pensacola, New Jersey, the Devin Wade show? You know, real quick, and I ain't going to be too long-winded. When I first got introduced to who you were, Dev, and I became a fan of who you were, I already knew Porter Rich from the music and everything like that. Well, unless I had yet to been introduced to you. But as I began to know who you were, and then to find out you were right up the damn street. Y'all right up the road.
It was likewise, though. It was likewise. I didn't know that y'all was right here at all. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, what? People was like, yeah, they from around the way. Not all the way around the way, but it wasn't far. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
One thing we like to do, man, is get people's backstory. And I think our audience should definitely know who you guys are. So very briefly, just kind of get into your backstory. You guys can start anywhere you want. Tell us where you grew up and kind of, you know, what molded you to be where you at today.
Yeah, for me, man, I grew up Camden, New Jersey, born and raised. And just a lot of dumb, you know, Camden, hood shit. I got in a lot of trouble. And I think that's really like, was a lot of my motivation for me. I lived the wrong life for a long time. So I just got fed up with living the wrong life. It's crazy because one of my first juvenile bids that I did was out here. It was in Mays Landing. I'm sure it's like probably like 20 minutes.
Well, Harborfields, maybe?
I wasn't in Harborsville, but I knew mad niggas that was in Harborsville. I was in Manor Woods.
Okay.
I did 11 and a half months in Manor Woods. So we knew about Harborfields and Southern Prep. You know what I mean? They was all in the same building. And the girls was the detention center. The girls' detention center was right there too. They had like, it's crazy because they had like 3 different juvenile facilities in that one complex that you're talking about. Right. They had Harborfields. But I was in a joint called Manor Woods, all like in the tuck in the woods out here where like the skunks used to spray and shit. We'd be mad as hell. Right. Like, but yeah, like just that type shit is what molded me to really like get my shit together. I did years and years of just the wrong life. So I came home and tried to find my gifts and my talent. Met Dev in music and met Wiley at the mall. Yeah, but that's what she do. She's a fashionista, so it makes sense when you know who she is. But I met Wiley at the mall, and rest is history, man.
You know, Dev Wade, Camden, New Jersey as well. I wasn't like Porter. I had foresight to know, like, when I was looking outside, I was like, nah, I don't think I want sell crack. It looks like it's cold as shit outside. I don't even care how much money niggas is making. This just don't look interesting. I'm trying to watch cartoons, read my comic books and shit. Like, for real. I was like, man, I'm trying, like, and when I was little, when I was like 2 years old, my mom left a pen or something from work on the floor, and like she had like I guess some of her work like paper stack. And when she came back in the room, I was drawing on it. Okay. So she kept all the shit too. I still got all of this stuff. She could tell what I was drawing, like, oh, that's a football player run. But I was a baby, so I couldn't really talk all the way or whatever. So my mom would keep my stuff, sign it, put the dates on it and all of that. So I was super into drawing from the very, very beginning. So I always had like a creative outlet that kept me out of like the stuff like Porter was into. I was like, nah, I'm good on that. I was just a geek, man, and just, you know, in the house learning shit. Nah, not at all. I mean, we might have went past each other. Yeah, we knew all the same people. Like, I was fighting with niggas that he was in jail with.
Like, Dev was still, see, don't get him fucked up, because he was still like dangerous, and like he was still dangerous Dev when he was watching them cartoons.
I was like,
I'm getting wind of the stories now. Like, nah, Dev used to like, he knocked this nigga out in the locker room, choked this nigga out. I'm like, oh, okay, definitely.
Like, so it was like I was a nerd, but I just wasn't scared of people. You know what I'm saying? So we all from the same type place. So you still gotta go to the store. Your mom sends you through, I lived in Stockton Station, so it's Stockton Station, and then right next to that is Westfield Acres. So these is like notorious like projects like in East Camden. So you still got to go into the middle of Westfield Acres to where the store was that the Asians like owned or whatever like that. So when you walking in there, you gonna have to fight for that. It's gonna be a little older nigga like, yo, young boy, let me get a loaf of bread. Like you just trying to start shit, or if you know how the niggas used to do the trick, yo, you look like the one that jumped my cousin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody, if you just that's like a black like rite of passage or whatever. So it was a lot of that, and you know, you get into little scuffles. But I just stayed on the art shit, man. And then you know, fast forward, I couldn't figure out how to make money off of art. So I actually quit drawing in like 2003. About 9 years later, one of my friends passed away, like in front of my studio, named Hypnosis. And that actually forced my hand to draw again, to draw like a portrait of him. And that's what kind of got me back into art, because people start calling me, asking me to draw people that passed away. So if I'm drawing and everybody I'm drawing, you got to concentrate, look at this picture all day, is of somebody that passed. Right. You start like, man, I don't want to just draw this. If I'm drawing, I might as well draw other stuff too. It's depressing. That's what got me back into the art. And I was already working in music and everything, like Porter said. And because I'm trying to skip past, because I did a lot. I co-created a show, won't be named, did what I did on that, had that public falling out. And then afterwards I said, well, the only way I could do something that I can't cheat myself, I'm going to just have to host this shit myself. You know what I mean? And I got with my peoples to put it together. And that's it, Devin Wade Show. We've been going strong with that ever since. You know what I mean?
Let's talk to the stylist. Let's get it.
Well, I have a different, life and background comparable to them. But born in Camden, raised in like Pensacola, Cherry Hill area. But I think what motivated me and drive, I had so much drive within like what I do, which is like fashion and, styling and stuff like that, was just like, living in a single parent home. My dad was around for a couple years, but unfortunately being in that drug industry, he ended up going back to DR and ended up getting locked up, and, things like that happen all the time. So my mom had to hold it down overall. But watching my mom back in the day, like the way she used to dress when she used to go out like on Saturdays with her homies, and like she used to have the oversized blazers, and just like I used to be like, yo, she crushing this shit. And I used to just always be inspired by that. And my mom used to always tell me too, like I used to always want to dress myself anyway. So that was just something, a gift maybe I just had naturally. And once I got to like high school, I applied for different colleges, but this one fashion school kind of just stood out to me, and they actually accepted me last minute. And I was like, yo, I'm moving to LA like in a month. My mom was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. Like, I just need to go. So I went out there, realized LA wasn't like the fashion capital, came back, went to the city, finished school out there, and then I started getting into the retail industry. But I was interning at like, not to get too crazy, but I was interning in different showrooms and working with different people. I've met so many celebrities. I mean, if I could tell you how many people I met that are like huge now, like it would be crazy. Like I would have never known, like I would have knew who Jerry Lorenzo was from like Fear God, and meeting them and meeting B Win and meeting all these different people when I was younger at clubs when I was living in LA. So it's just like now seeing their success and seeing what they do, it inspired me. It was like, yo, like I was around these people at one point and I seen where they started, and it just kind of like pushed me to go harder. And then I started, working in retail. That's how I met Porter Rich. I always knew Dev because he was from the neighborhood. I actually grew up on the block that our studio's on. My like childhood home is right there. So I always knew who Dev Wade was. And once this podcast thing started coming up, Richie hit me up and was like, yo, Dev said, like, what's up? You want to, like, work on this podcast? And I was like, he was like, we just trying some things out, whatever. Came in, we was doing it. It was more for, like, fun. Like, we were supporting Dev. It wasn't something like, this is our job. This is what we're going to do. It was just like, let's go fuck with the homie. And we started doing it, and it was fun. Like, it's legit fun. I mean, now, like, it's a little bit more serious because this is something we're trying to do, like, professionally. But I appreciated Dev to give us the opportunity, and it just, we created this bond, and now we're here.
How was your time in LA? Because I lived in. It's funny you said that because I'm obviously from out here too, and I traveled to LA on pursuit of my music. And when I did, I had a son, and it wasn't too much going on out here. I was really trying to do something different, and I heard LA was the spot to be.
Right.
Took a Penske truck, me, my man, and some other, we ain't gonna name that person, drove all the way across country to go see our dream, big Hollywood sign. We ended up in some Mexican mafia area. We didn't know where the fuck we was at.
Probably East LA.
No, we was in Northridge.
Oh, Northridge?
Dangerous. We was at
right.
This motherfucker was no joke. We was in the valley. It was hoods out there.
Right.
The misconception of LA compared to what we think, and we think it's something way different than what it really is. Talk about your experience in LA, because I thought it was fake, phony, and some of the best advice I got out there was, you don't have to do what you love out here. You can do it at home. And that's what motivated me to come back to Jersey and kind of get into what I love, because I realized I didn't have to do it out there. But what was your experience like in LA?
I want to say it was the same. It was a lot of fake, phony. There's a lot of opportunists out there. There's people that are trying to, either do what you do or trying to, climb up the ladder as well. When you think about Hollywood, you think about actors that are like really trying to like be in a movie, or, artists who are like trying to like, do whatever they need to do to kind of like get into, get in where they fit in. So you can't, like, LA is like a melting pot, low key. Yeah. And it was hard for me to build relationships. It was hard for me to, really kind of like fit into some degree, because we from the East Coast. Like I speak my truth. Mm-hmm. I'm very honest with myself. So, being in a room with a bunch of females that are trying to be something that they really not just didn't really like work for me. So I think essentially, I would never go back.
Damn.
I love LA, but I would never go back in regards to like living there, because I think for me, like, I'm all about being real. I'm all about being honest. And I feel like the conception is that, you go out there and you're going to become successful all the way. And that's not necessarily true. It's the same thing like being out here, but it's like there's people that legit you would think it's your friend, and you're like, they do some crazy shit, and you're like, oh shit, I thought you was a homie. Like, you telling them your deepest secrets, you're doing all these things, and these people are disguising you.
No, so, that's the thing too. A lot of people could watch people's lives, from here, looking at LA and seeing how they living, but remember that their Instagram and all that is a highlight reel, right?
Right.
So people, be struggling out there a lot of the times, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sleeping on couches, doing whatever they got to do because the rent is crazy high and all that. But what I will say is, I didn't live in LA, but sometimes me, my partner Don Michael, we would go there, stay at a spot. It was called the Oakwood, and it's like a apartment thing that you could pay like week to week. You could go and live,
it's in like, they have one in Hollywood. They got one in like downtown LA. There's like these apartment complexes. They used to rent them out to the college students. If they didn't want to pay for like room and board, you can pay for those like apartments.
Yeah.
So I know exactly
we
what
used
you're
to
talking
like
about.
stay at them Jones, be there for like 3 weeks and things like that. But what I would say is, being in the Philadelphia area, basically, we would never get the same amount of opportunities here. Yeah. So the same way you walk around here, do what you do, and never run into a person that's famous or a producer or anything with any merit, right? And then you go there, and it was what I can say about it was, everywhere you looked, red light, look over, oh shit, that's so and so. And for us, it led to so many more opportunities, to the point where in the Oakwood, they had like a corner store in there. Mm-hmm. And inside that, John, the same way in the hood, you got people's pictures of all the people from the neighborhood, the ladies might have in the store. It was all headshots signed by everybody that kind of like either lived in the apartment or whatever. Oh, wow. So every time I would go into the store, I would meet somebody. So I stopped buying things that I needed later. If I was thirsty, I walked to the store. If I was hungry, I walked to the store. I wanted to walk in there multiple times a day
to see if you ran into somebody.
Yeah, so I walk in and it would be like Stan from Martin or something just in there. Or I walked in there one day and somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around, it's Juicy J, and he got like some kind of like sauce in his hand. He like, yo, you use this for spaghetti? And I'm like, yo, you Juicy J, yeah? And he like, yeah, do you use this for spaghetti? I'm like, I don't know, nigga. Like, you Juicy J. Like, you know what I'm saying? So what I would say is, a lot of people tell me all the time that I actually, in their opinion, I wasted my talent, like being here, because those places that are going to make these movies, animated series, things like that, you know, for the artwork and things that I do. They're like, if you come to LA, you're out of here. But I built a homegrown business here, and I don't like to leave behind what I created here. Family, everything, my people. I'm comfortable here. So it wasn't like a cop out. I was like, I built something of value here, and I would need to have a trusted system that this is going to run smoothly with me gone, in order for me to like go somewhere like that. You know what I'm saying?
So get into, let's kind of fast forward it a little bit. And if you guys want to add anything in about your life, feel free to. But bringing the podcast together, talk about that. Did you guys have any separate prior experiences doing anything? Because everybody just can't jump and talk on a podcast. You usually have some type of speaking or something. So if you
I mean, I think, to be honest, it all really was coming together with us originally without us even knowing. To be honest, because I came to Dev. I was around Dev already doing music. Dev was already doing artwork for me. We already had a relationship. I know Dev had a podcast hub in there. You know, Dev got a friend who, of course, everybody know that used to do the show with us. You know what I mean? They all was already in that field, in the realm. You know what I mean? And Dev had told me, like, Rich, you know, now I'm doing music here, this and that, the podcast here. And at one point, me and Wiley was trying to do a podcast produced by Dev.
Okay.
And it was me, Wiley, and another friend of mine. And we was trying to get that off the ground at one point, and it just didn't work. Schedules was like a little conflicted. You know what I mean? It just wasn't right. The timing wasn't right. And we pulled the plug on that. And I really was kind of like I wanted to do it. A lot of people was just telling me like, Rich, we like when you talk from like Facebook Lives and shit like that. So a lot of people that I worked with at my job used to tell me a lot, especially one person, shout out to Shelby, that's like a special homie of mine. She used to tell me a lot, like, nah, Rich, you don't understand. Like, when you talk, people listen. Like, you need to talk more. Like, you do them little 10-minute lives and like, or 15 minutes and they be crazy, but you cut them off. So it just had me like, I was trying to figure out which way I wanted to wing something for me to talk, something for me to go ahead and voice my opinion and voice my views on different things, because I do have a lot of views on like a lot of different shit that go on in the world, everyday shit. And I was trying to figure it out. I thought Wiley definitely, because for me and Wiley in the mall and just talking to her on some regular homie shit. We used to talk about just a bunch of shit when we wasn't talking about the clothes sometimes after we got cool.
Right.
And I knew Wiley was dope. You know, I knew she could talk regular. We used to hold a lot of everyday conversations. I think that's kind of like what podcasting consists of to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So, like Dev said, my little shit didn't work. We ended up, just pausing that whole thing.
Man, I tricked Rich into doing the podcast.
Dev did what he did. Me and Dev was listening. While Dev was doing his podcast and all that other stuff, we just was creating a bond already. We was real close. We was talking about a bunch of stuff because we was homies already. You know what I mean? And it just ended up to Dev calling saying, Rich, come on. I'm ready to do a different podcast. I want you to, come rock with me.
I was one of the people telling Rich he needed to do a podcast. What Rich leaving out is he would go back and forth with whether or not he wanted to do a podcast. Okay, if you know Richie and you from Camden, New Jersey, he a serious person. People know him. He got a certain respect level. Yeah. Whenever you jump, whenever you jump into any type of entertainment, people, I don't know what it is with people's mind. Like if they see you doing something on a professional level, all of a sudden you not the same street person or the person from the neighborhood or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I felt like Rich was going kind of back and forth. Like, I don't really know if I want to be on a podcast playing niggas think they could fucking play with me. That was his thing. But what I knew was once I was starting my podcast that if I tell him I wanted him to make his own, it was like, you know what? I'm going to just start a podcast and tell Rich he need to come and do the podcast with me. He not going to say no to me. So that's how he kind of got tricked into coming on to the podcast.
I was unsure. About, just really wanted to. That's what I used to tell the girl that I mentioned. Like, I just was unsure if I wanted to, like, open myself up like that to people. Like, I know, and don't get it fucked up. I got thick skin. I come up cracking in the hood, all that shit. Mm-hmm. So it's just the internet. And
it's so reckless.
It's just so new to us.
Yeah.
It's so new to us how so many people just could come out of the woodworks and really have access to you. They could jump in your DM and really message you directly.
Yeah.
And me, Dev's seen it already from just our experience. I clap back. I like to clap
sure
back
do.
sometimes. Like motherfuckers say shit.
Right.
Because I got a way with words too. So it's like if you want to put yourself in that predicament to come make a slick comment and think you're gonna be funny and joke on me, don't get mad if I say something that I might say something that's actually gonna make you want to buy a ticket to a show and come out and come see me.
Yeah, and that's the thing with it too. Like he good with work. Like I'm not good at like making fun of people, clowning people. When you first get in a public, situation and people talking about you, you'll be looking on people's page to see if you could see like where they work at. Shit like that. Like this person talking, is they in the Philly area? Is they in the area? Right. Because you still feel as a man, like how often do you walk around and people come up to you and say something crazy?
Never.
In my life, it never happens, bro.
Right.
Most people, it shouldn't matter, but most people watch me on a show and they think that I'm small for some reason. And everybody that meets me, they ask me, they be like, yo, I already know what they mean when they say like, yo, you Devin Wade? Now it's like, obviously, if it's my face, it's me. But in their head, the reason they're asking is because they're like this. Are you Devin Wade? I thought you was small, dog. And it's like, no, that's the cameras, or I'm hunched over, whatever the case may be. So you don't run into people doing that, and to have people online saying crazy shit to you, they'll smack you, they'll do. You'll be like, hold on, my nigga, hold on. You be on there looking like, yo, where this nigga work at? Is that the mall? Like, where? Yo, for real, that shit'll drive you nuts.
Somebody told me, they was like, man, I wish I could have jumped through the TV onto that couch. I said, yeah, you'd have jumped back the fuck in that TV too, nigga. Like, fuck you talking about. But I be having fun with it. It be all love and funny games, man. Because I get the internet. I get it. I don't really be tripping. I just clap back. I have fun.
And the crazy part is our audience. So like we discovered that if the conversation is negative, if it's a beef, if it's anything like that, the numbers difference that we'll do is light years different. So if I go on the show and I address a issue I have with somebody, all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of views, right? Hundreds of thousands of views. Then I have to make a decision. What is our show about? Because I could easily just come on the next show and say something else I think about another nigga and do that numbers. But that's not me. That's not what we trying to make. So we'll rather, okay, if I gotta lose a ignorant following or people that want to just watch a crash, because they don't really care about it. They just want to see the action, the bullshit go down. When you locked up, they're gonna be like, you dumb. You know what I mean? So we had to decide. So honestly, when you do see our comment section, it's rare that there's any negativity inside of it because of the audience, that we attract. The audience that we attract ain't even on that type time. And if a person do come in there with the negativity, they're almost like assaulted by everybody else that's in there. Like, man, don't bring that bullshit over here. This ain't that type vibe.
Our fans are like very loyal to us, and just speaking from a place of a woman, it's it's different. Being on now being on a podcast with two men. It's interesting. It's fun, but I learned that having these two guys right here, they really help filter out the bullshit that comes my way. I feel like people be afraid to say certain things to me, especially when it comes to men. Of course, you're going to have men saying wild things.
They going to shoot their shots.
Yeah, they definitely going to shoot their shots.
They sending dicks.
They doing all that, right? But I've never had no men like try to violate me as a woman, in our chats or like any of the fans or anything like that. And I try to be very personable as much as I can. So I think ultimately I'm still a student to this podcast thing, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm human. Sometimes I might not know something that we're talking about or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a student. I think we all are. I feel like this is something new that's happening and popping. And, you know, just having my team right here, they support me. So it kind of just makes me feel good. Like when I'm able to like, you know, if I make a mistake, they're there to jump in and vice versa. Like if I know like somebody's just kind of getting lost in something, I'm like, well, this person meant that. Like, you know, you're trying to support them in those moments. So.
Yeah, we got a good shout out to Ace the engineer who is our engineer on there. Listen, Ace so nice, right? He's so nice. I ain't gonna say specifically what happened, but
no,
Ace no, we can say a word, use a word wrong.
I use the word wrong.
Say a word wrong, and Ace will go back in there. Chop the word up, change and make you say the correct word. And nobody knows that you didn't say the word by taking your beginning vowel sounds and endings from something else that you said on a show or prior show, and he could put the word together for you. And next thing you know, you said the right thing instead of the wrong thing.
We're gonna need one of y'all.
Shout out
to Ace for that. Yo, thank you so much.
Yeah, but like Dev said, one of the main things for us is like we really just geared towards wanting to make something that like really like we didn't have. You know, because Dev did music, I did music. Wiley, you know, she got other talents that she could like you know, just showcase. And we wanted to build something that's really like just building people up, man. Like all that tearing people down and shit. And don't get me wrong, we talk about, you know, when we spoke with y'all, we spoke about, you know, just some real issues because they real life issues that happen. So sometimes, guess what? We might talk about some shit that might consist of like some light negative shit, and it's not really us.
It had to be addressed.
Like it had to be addressed. It's some you know negative that might have came across our table, you know, or one of the individuals from our family's table, you know, and we'll address it. But for the most part, we want to be like uplifting. We want to be like building. We want to build with people, build, cross promote, build people up. And, you know, that's what the platform is for. Because again, when we, you know, was just doing our music and stuff like that, some of them things was hard to find around here. If we wasn't in Philly, you know, getting like on Philly platforms and stuff like that. Jersey, you know, North Jersey was really like going to New York.
Yeah, we played Philly heavy. Like even me, I wasn't a New Jersey or Camden party promoter. Everybody knew I threw all my parties in Philly for years. Them Philly clubs is where I threw my, you know, all my joints. You know what I'm saying? But for us, like he said, we want to keep it positive because when people come on our show, you know, I do production work for other shows sometimes. And what'll happen is a guest will come on, and when the guest doesn't have a rapport with the hosts that are on there, they could come on guarded, especially like a gangster rapper or whatever. But people catch on quick that when they come on our show, you see a different them. They bugging, wilding because they know they not brought on my show to be made fun of. Like if we clowning, we all clowning together. We don't try to set people up to line a person up like we gonna bring him on here and attack him about this or that. And nah, we don't need, that's not the platform. You feel what I'm saying? You come on there, you gonna get your flowers. We don't be dick eating, as you say, from you know, in the Philly area. And a lot of times people could watch us and see us giving props and be like, damn, this how they feel about everybody. If they got reached out to be on our show, it was a reason.
Right.
I really grew up watching that actor. I really listened to this dude's music. You know, most of our people that we brought on is actually some kind of past interaction or link to our storyline. You know what I mean? So sometimes when people might reach out and we might be like, we don't have a slot for them, it's based off we didn't have any kind of rapport. Some of these people was people that I was doing their pictures back in the day, or Rich was doing music with them, or it was something that made those paths cross.
And like Dev said, like for me, I know for me, like we said, you know, I come from just a real place where like I've experienced some real things, you know, on the street side of things, crazy shit, real shit, whatever. And you would think that, you know, a person like me, right? Well, and I say you would think, but I really can't say that, and I'll tell you why. Because you would think that a person like me will be like the person that'd be on that type shit, right? And people would probably understand it. Like, okay, well, he a wild type nigga. He come from like wild type shit. But it's actually the opposite for me. And it's crazy because I question some of the platforms that be out right now and the people that actually operate them and their backgrounds, right? Because it's like you promote negativity. You stay in like just a vicinity where, like, and don't get me wrong, because I don't want to knock nobody hustle. I wish everybody like blessings and success.
Yeah, but
right?
they was never grew up in that kind of danger. They never was in the midst of that shit.
And it's crazy that you playing with it and you putting gas on shit, right? Because I come from like ag seg, 23-1, like, where shit could get ugly, you know what I mean? Like, repeated Jersey prisons, going through craft multiple times, you know what I mean? Like, just to be assessed before you even get to prison, like, you know what I mean? Trenton State type shit, like, so it's just, and I see what other people be doing, and I'm like, yo, I know where that shit could really lead to, and I just be wondering, like, do they know? Because when you in that shit and you igniting that kind of shit, you like in gang shit, you in these little rappers, and some of these rappers are really who they are, right? They from these environments where they really are who they are, really living the life that they talking about. And a lot of other people that don't come from that, for some views, for some likes, for to get their shit up, right? They go do crazy shit and stick their nose in this type shit. And to be honest, a lot of these guys that come from this type shit, man, I know. Trust me, I know, because I felt my mental play on me at times, at certain moments when, just grimy shit happens and little bullshit happens, your old mentality kick in. And I know that these guys don't understand. Like, you playing with this shit. One of these little kids, man, they'll run up on you anywhere at any time and just say, yo,
what they think is that they never gonna run into that person, right?
Yes.
But like he said, he grew up in jail, right? So it ain't you can't run too far from nobody, right? So we from Camden like 8-9 miles big. At the end of the day, you could get to anybody that you want to get to. So you can't just say anything or do anything, because at the end of the day, you so touchable. But the internet make it feel like people are so far away. But bro, even in my life, I found myself in the elevator with a nigga that said something crazy, or just I came down. I had a bouncer before talk crazy, says the wildest shit to me. I didn't even know the nigga was a bouncer. It was crazy back and forth on the internet years ago. I actually came out this way. It was more out Atlantic City. Couldn't find a club to go to. Shit, and I went to some. It was more like a white type spot, like a techno type joint. Right. Pull up with my people, get out the car. Who at the front of the building? That person is the bouncer. I'm excited now, right? Because when I walk up to the front, you give them that ID. They looked at the joint, kept it, handed it back. I'm like, you see who I am, right? You see my name? Remember our conversation earlier? Nah. You remember the conversation? Right. That's old. Yeah. I'm over that. Yeah. Bet. Because the energy was way different when there was that big distance. And I'm sure the energy would have been different if 9 of his bouncer homies was there. You feel what I'm saying? So people can't play around with people like that. We don't fuck around with that. If I address something like that, it's because I'm really standing on it, and I do expect to see the person or whatever the case may be.
And when we got this podcast game, we knew that we wanted to kind of be different, right? We knew that we wanted to give a different message than what people were saying on the internet, especially when it comes to hip hop. We wanted to give real perspective and not give the status quo we'll be hearing on mainstream media, but not being negative to where we're promoting nonsense and bullshit. But on the flip side of that, we also understood motherfuckers like drama. Like, they like that. So how can we give them what they want, but also give them what they need, which is the food. You know what I mean? So we figured out a nice creative way to wrap the candy around the food.
With the medicine in it.
You know what I mean? Put the medicine in it. I think we do a great job of that. And I think it was dope because the last time we had a conversation when we were at y'all spot, we talked about calling out the bullshit, especially in the industry, in the fake industry. And having fear of being blackballed, but still standing on your 10 toes and being a man or being a woman and being who you are and calling out the bullshit. And I realized we were going through our share of shit, even from the time we came on here to the time you guys are on here now. And goddamn, did we want to call out some shit. A lot of shit. Go all the way to fucking, because that's who we are.
Right.
But understanding this business and understanding the game that we're in, it's like, at the end of the day, it may feel good, but how much progress do we really get from it? Right. Talk about how y'all stay so professional and so grounded when it's so easy for y'all as a platform, as a podcast, as individuals to easily go off that rail and easily go in, even though it may feel real good, thinking about the overall perspective of that.
So for me, for situations, so I'm gonna just use y'all for example, and we don't gotta go into names, right? I've seen stuff on your channel. You'll have like a guest on, and the guest will be a person that's I would say conspiracy heavy, and this woman will talk about people in the industry, and everything is extra. This is demonic. This person tried to rape me. This person tried to do this. And I'll keep it 100. I've had run-ins with that person, right? As a regular person. And they're batshit crazy.
I know exactly.
Right? Right? No. So I'm going to tell you. So the reason why I said this is because if I jump out on my podcast and say anything without knowing the facts because I heard somebody say something wild, I had this same person tell me I was in the Illuminati.
To your face?
To my face. I had to kick her out my studio. You feel what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you is people that have these wild thoughts that are entertaining in a motherfucker. So you give them the platform, the story sound juicy. This person did this. This person sacrificed the goat. This person did this. And man, a lot of times you find out a lot of these people, these celebrities and people, they like regular niggas that's burp, fart, scratch their nuts, got lucky, ended up in a situation. They didn't sacrifice a goat or nothing to get there. They are a regular ass nigga. You will be highly disappointed. Like he ain't that. No, he got it in. Something popped off. But what I'm saying is if I receive this information and we go on our platform and we wild out, and then it comes out that the information not even true, we look crazy. I personally can't jump on the platform and go crazy on, let's say, what's a story? The Meg Thee Stallion joint. I can't because I don't know what happened in that car. Right. So if I get on there, Tory Lanez is a bitch ass nigga, fuck him, I'll beat his out, choke him out, and turn out he innocent. Look crazy.
Yeah, we don't. One thing we do this extra special that we do is teamwork, right? Extra special that we do teamwork. Dev is like a quarterback, you know what I mean, for us. You know, me and Wally like a running back and a wide receiver, you know, and we talk about it, a lot of shit, you know, from just our goals from the beginning and just where we want to go to just rehuddling, you know, after like a season, a whole first season, coming back, rehuddling, saying, okay, what do we want to change? What do we want to increase? You know what I mean? And one thing we always said though, in these teamwork meetings and in these huddles, I know it stands out to me about what y'all asking and, you know, why we did it, how we did it. One thing we always said is like, we don't convict people here, right? Because we're not a judge and jury. We don't convict people here. We'll bring some stuff to the table. We'll give our views on if that was that way.
It's important.
Yeah.
Or if it was this way. But we don't know. Right. Yeah, that's wrong if that happened. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't convict people. I think on a lot of different personnels and different platforms, people really convict people.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
people take their personal opinion and they use their personal discretion and they convict people.
Well, it's because people believe in people.
Right.
If you know, if you had a celebrity that's supposed to be like a, you know, a stand-up person, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, and you believe in them so much, when they say something, you believe it. Yeah. If a dude could be a street person, he a real nigga, he would never lie about that. Man, some of these
he lied.
Niggas is bitches. You know what I'm saying? Right. Me or anybody I come from party nerds. Yeah. Any party nerd, wipe these niggas in a fist fight. You know what I'm saying? These niggas you don't know who people are. So if you really don't know these people, and you gotta understand once you in entertainment that people are entertainers, whether they a preacher, rapper, you don't know what they are. You can't trust everything that come out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because their music was so good to you and got you through certain things or whatever the case may be. When that person come out and say, such and such did this or such and such did that, I can't jump right on the joint and be like, you bitch ass nigga, you did this or that, because I don't know that person. I could meet them in real life and be like, wow.
But I think that separates us from a lot of like different podcasts as well. And I always share this with Richie and Dev, and I especially, you know, when we're like regrounding in like what our I'm using like different type of lingo that I use at work and shit, but our secret sauce, I think essentially is just letting people come on our show and be them. Like you can be truly whatever you want to share here, whatever you want to do. We're not here to, you know, create that content for you. We're here to support you in whatever conversation you want to have. And then we'll just kind of like talk you through that because it's not scripted. You know, podcasts aren't scripted. I mean, some are, you know, depending on the scenario. But for us, like it's not scripted. So when they come on here, we know what we want to ask. But ultimately, we give them that platform to share what they want to share and how they want to share it.
Right. Because with us, so sometimes we do joints and, you know, people will get mad if we talk, right? Because when you do an interview with somebody, you're going to bring their audience too, right? Or extra people. Yeah. And we might be talking about something and they'll be like, man, let so-and-so talk. But what they don't understand is there's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. The reason is because a person's life story don't change. If I go on 10 podcasts, and they ask me my life story, this is what happened. So you're going to get the same interview. So I want an interview only enough for people that didn't know who this person was coming on my show to know who they are. But then we get into general topics because I'd rather get their opinions on other things, something that they can't get off of another show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing a person here, like she said, be yourself. We're going to talk about other shit. We might be talking sex topics. We might be talking about regret topics. We might be talking about whatever because the other person ain't going to ask the wild shit. It don't got to always be vulgar, but sometimes because we'll ask, and we'll notice that the people have fun and bug out and be like, damn, how we know our shits is good for real. When them cameras turn off, our guests never want to leave.
Yeah, they stay around the studio.
Never. Omar Gooden was out from the West Coast out here, broke afterwards. What y'all doing? And this was my opinion. I ain't Omar, you could, clear this up. But when he came, Big O. You know what I mean? Big O. I felt like he didn't want to be there, like he was doing an obligation. That's how I felt. But once he was there just for a little bit, saw the vibe, saw what we was into, it changed immediately.
Man,
like
it went
the guard
so crazy.
Went down.
It went so crazy. He ended up at my album listening release party that night.
In Compton, that nigga was in the trenches.
Came in the trenches. We popped champagne.
Listen, they was smoking. It was so smoky in there. I was like, damn, like we got O here.
Once I seen him come through the door, I said, oh, because Dad was like, yo, he coming.
And trust me, he ain't had no worries about being in Camden, New Jersey. He real hood nigga. He was out there. He didn't care. He was really out there. And then, man, he probably ain't go home till 4:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And most of the people that come on our platform afterwards, it's that same type vibe. They don't even want to leave. And sometimes we got to do 2 episodes in a day. So the only time that they do really leave is when it's like, now we kind of got to start something else. But other than that, niggas will chill until we close them doors. You know what I'm saying?
I hate y'all, but we couldn't even get my good virtual. Y'all had this nigga in Camden.
You must come here like 4 times.
No, hold on. So first off, they can't say that because they done had Mark Cuban.
Right.
I need them to do who do the booking out here.
Right.
Who do the booking? Because I need them to come work with
live up y'all way.
with Devin Way show. Yeah.
Well,
sharing
is caring. Okay.
These, this thing right here, I feel like, why am I on here? That's just how I felt, you know what I mean?
Has there ever been a time, though, when somebody came on your show and told a story, and then you found out later that they was all bullshit?
I haven't actually.
Okay.
I actually haven't found that out at all. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, most of the time they don't come on the show and like talk about other people, or they're really on there and like bugging out saying shit that you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
You know, they on there like, I had sex with a little person. I got my ass ate by it. Like they get, once they catch the vibe that people is laughing with them and not at them, man, people will just start telling open up. You know what I mean? Because they know we gonna say whatever. Richie gonna say whatever.
I had a
Richie
guest tell me that he thought that another guest was lying. He was like, I did have a guest tell me that he was like, he lied about that. And I was like, but he didn't really know. I was like, you know he lied? He was like, I just don't remember. And I was like, well, you can't say that he lied then if you really just don't remember. But we don't, again, even when shit like that happens, we the type, man, I'm not making no bad relationships. That ain't nothing to bring to the table. That's something to laugh about and duff, because every relationship that comes to our podcast, 9 times out of 10 comes through a good relationship.
Yeah.
It's either through Dev, through Wiley, through somebody we know.
Another thing,
we don't want to do that to people.
Philly. We from Camden, but our whole life been in Philly. And growing up in Camden, we ain't have our own like clubs like that, because it would be like club will open up. It'd be like Frontera or something open up. It'd be closed in one day, shooting first day, shit like that. We always went to Philly. So Philly, we always had that relationship with Philly where you had to go over to Philly to do some kind of class. You went to Philly to party. So if you did all your partying in Philly, you probably got into a lot of drunken fights in Philly. You met all the girls in Philly. So we're still Philadelphian people, right? So sometimes I'll notice after my situation, I have Philadelphia artists tiptoe around wanting to be on the show. Like they'll ask through somebody else, yo, you think that, listen, man, we fuck with Philly. Y'all, you want to come on the show, you just hit me. You don't got to go around, yo, can you ask Dev if we could come on tonight?
They've called Camden East Philly, right? They've called Camden, but like, I got a homie that did a mixtape, and, because we fuck with Philly, and it wasn't like niggas, felt bad about it. My man did a mixtape and called it East Philly, right? And then I've had people, because just been little shit talking type shit. And I've had other people say, nah, we not no motherfucking East Philly. I had other people say, nah, they West Camden. And I be like, yo, y'all funny as shit. Y'all like on some... But it's love, man. It's love. It's like really literally like 5 minutes, bro. I get the spots in Philly. I get the spots in Philly
faster than a nigga that live in Philly.
I get the shit in like South Jersey. And a lot of shit that's in South Jersey. I'd rather go to like South Street to probably get a sandwich.
It makes sense.
So just know, y'all welcome, man. You already know what it is,
Yeah. What's y'all have had some crazy guests, and the shit's always been a good time. What guests walked out your door? Y'all like, God damn, that motherfucker was crazy.
Crazy or just great?
Or great, yeah.
It's somebody that just knocked y'all socks off. Somebody was just like, whoa, we just interviewed that person, or that went left. That wasn't what I expected.
For me, Oskino.
Yo, I was gonna say for me, it's Oskino too. Like he really I think I would have rather not interview him and just watch it, because I was so intrigued with the story. Like I wish I would have heard the story first and then had him come on and share the story again, because I was like this. Because the story, he been through so much, and his storytelling is immaculate, and it just, he shared it where like you felt like you were going through what he went through. Like it was so heartfelt, and then being next to him, and I was just like, I legit just wanted to give him a hug, because I just felt the compassion he had. He was probably one of the best.
And his stories, real quick, Rich, his stories is almost the kind that's like can't be lies.
Yeah.
The way, no way. Like, like the way certain shit go together and the way pieces go, it just be like, nah, you just feel it. And he's one of the most interesting people that I've met that afterwards building a relationship where it was just like, damn, this nigga is a lot more like me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a lot more thinking, a person that thinks like me. He a deep thinking person that just so happened to have certain, obstacles. that was his obstacles. That was his circumstances. You know what I'm saying? But when he told his stories, I produced the show. I'm the cameraman. I'm everything, right? So, and I was the only sound man until, shout out to Ace the engineer. You know what I'm saying? But when you doing that work, it's repetitive. I don't enjoy the show again until we watch it when it's out, right? That was the first episode that while I was editing that motherfucker, I was like, God damn,
he said that too.
Life is crazy. I felt like I was watching it while editing it.
I watched some of his videos on YouTube when he told some of the stories, and I was the same way. Like his storytelling is immaculate.
So just imagine being right there next to him. I was like stuck.
We've had. I mean, for me, I ain't gonna hold you. It's been a couple that really like I was, because I'm just a fan and supporter of certain shit. Like Danny was big for me. That's like an honorable mention. Danny Garcia was big for me. To have Danny on the couch with us, he like a champion.
And the Sianji twins and Angel,
Right.
I missed that episode.
Whole family.
Yeah, that's a good one. You gotta catch that.
All of them. To me, I mean, I'm gonna give y'all my biggest one for me, but all of them was like honorable mentions. Him, Mike Daniels, even Omi. Omi is like legendary to a lot of people. I ran into a lot of people that be like, "Yo, the dude Omi? I see y'all be with the dude," and I'm like, "Yeah, like we know Omi," and motherfuckers love Omi in the Hellcat.
Yeah.
Like he's like,
another dude that I met and it just hit it all. That's one of the closest people to me. You know what I'm saying? And that nigga really, he look out for people.
And Omi's
for real,
the craziest shit, the funniest shit. Omi's gonna say the craziest, funniest shit.
And you're gonna learn from him too. It's like whenever Omi's on the show, just know it's gonna be It's gonna be educational. You're gonna learn something every single time.
But I think the Big O one was the one that for me that kind of like was like, oh shit, like. I remember when Dev called me like, yo, we about to probably pull something off with this. And I was just like, what? And then when it really happened, I'm in the room and I'm like, oh shit. Cause now I'm thinking like Baby Boy, we even talked about, him being married to like, one of the actresses that was from the joint and,
like dating her.
She was like the girl Angel Conwell. She was like a model who I was like, incarcerated with, used to have in the Smooth magazine.
Yeah, beating off.
Yeah, well, I used to beat a little something.
Porter Rich pretty much told him I used to beat off to your girl.
Always like, I know.
Long as we wasn't in dorms, if we was in little pods, I got a bathroom, little privacy, they know what's up. Like we hold it down. But Big O, man, and I think again he just really went crazy. He went crazy. He was like Dev said. He got so comfortable. Like once we kind of like just he got comfortable and he sat in. He just opened up, man. It was really like a fun moment. Nigga was saying crazy shit.
Yeah, he was. We was trying to be cool because he was there. He started wilding. We
were like this. Yo. We were like, so he was like, "Can I curse on here?" We was like, "Do your thing." Like,
he started going crazy.
And then for him to end it like the way he ended it, that was just a lot of love for me. Because I told him and I told our people who knew him, like, yo, look, I'm having this party tonight. If you want, breeze through. We're gonna show love. You know what I mean? And for him to just really slide after having a good time with us on the podcast. I was just like, yo, this shit is like crazy memory for me.
Yeah, no, it was dope to actually have somebody that you watched. Like I watched him as a kid on like Wild and Crazy Kids and all this to like have him in your spot and everything. And that's the thing. We don't front. We'll express to the guests like, nah, bro, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I watched you as a kid. You don't never gotta feel like you dick riding or nothing to tell somebody something that they might need to hear that. Yeah. You don't know what a person might be going through, the doubt I don't care what level they on, where share it with him. Like, no, man, even when my mom watched this, she gonna be like, my son used to watch this nigga in the crib, you know what I'm saying, in his pajamas, and now we sitting here doing, working together, and that's a big deal. But this just reminded me when you said, did somebody ever say something that was a lie, right? I don't think it was, but Dylon. If you listen, because you might not watch ours, but I know you got to be watching this. This channel. This channel got millions. So Ines told a story about Dylon on an episode. Is amazing story saying that. Yeah, he did. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Dylon, what's up? So Ines said that Dylon didn't show up. He wouldn't show up for all of these like shows and shit like that. And they would split his money up. So they said that Dylon actually didn't show up to do Dave Chappelle. When Dave Chappelle was at the height, he just didn't care, didn't show up, right? So he said Dylon didn't show up. And that's when Dave Chappelle decided, yo, I'll play Dylon. Don't worry about it. Like that wasn't the plan. Wow. He tells this amazing story. It's hilarious. And we're like, yo, Dylon, crazy as hell for that. So, we'll put up the clip, whatever the case may be. Next thing you know, Dylon in them comments like, yo, that ain't happen like that, but it's coolness. Thanks for the shout out, but that shit's some bullshit. And we like, well, Dylon, come tell your side. You know what I'm saying? We got some questions for you too, Dylon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Have you had anybody, right, that was scared to deal with y'all because of the Gilly situation? That didn't want to come sit with y'all because they might mess up a relationship with Gilly and Wallow?
I think so.
It's definitely son. We just don't know.
They're not gonna say it.
I'm not. So I won't put. I'm not gonna put the person out there because they be like, "Damn, Dev." But literally, so my birthday just passed, right? And 2 years ago on my birthday is when all of that stuff took place, right? It was on purpose. It was done on my birthday, right? And later on that day, my partner Don Michael Jr. he downstairs running the session, and he's like, "Yo, such and such is down here." Somebody, prominent person. And I came down the steps or whatever, and I met them, and they was like, "What's up, Dad?" We talking and everything, and I said something about working with them, and it was the first time ever in my life, because I know I do got a certain talent level. People are usually like, "Yeah, I want to work with you." They know in some regard I could utilize this guy. That he said, "Nah, I can't." And I was like,
Damn.
I thought it was over. Like, whoa, no, this shit is real. Like, I'm done. I'm blackballed. And he was like, "Nah, me and him got a rapport. I can't do it." But fast forward, it only was like 3 months later.
Okay.
That person came calling.
Yeah,
Dev, I want you to be I want you to produce my material. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Because once people start seeing what you really do, that you have a certain value, no matter what, dog, that phone gonna ring, bro, and ring crazy. I have to pick what I'm gonna do, and it's hard to choose sometimes because so many things seem like great opportunities, and it's like I can only do so much.
I just hope people not doing that, and people, if you are, you can stop. And the reason why I tell you can stop is because none of our people are doing it. All my people still support Gilly and Wallow.
Yeah.
Like niggas, niggas ain't on that. And I'm not the petty nigga that's going, because I get DMs from motivational speeches that come from like they page, but it's coming from and it's coming from like one of my homies that like the motivational clip, they like the speech, and they sending it to me. I'm not snapping on them niggas like, "Yo, stop sending me this shit." You know what I'm saying? Like, so we don't be tripping, bro. Like we in a new place. You know what I mean? Dev, that was, I can't speak for Dev. You know what I mean? That was Dev thing, but Dev, as far as we did and what we doing, it don't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
We move forward on
people just got to understand, when you in production and when you do like design work and things like that, the things that you do aren't always going to be publicized. You know what I mean? That's your gig. That's your bread and butter. Yeah. So no matter what, I'm always going to make money. I'm always going to have a job, a contract, or something coming through, because people need people that know how to like build or create something, right? So whether it's this mic arm, this microphone, the camera that's recording me, the couch that y'all sitting on, the computer, there's not one thing that you have or could hold that's manufactured that don't got to be drawn first. And there's special people on the earth, and I thank God for making me one of those people that know how to grab a pencil and can draw it from top to bottom. How it's going to work, how it's going to fold together, how the measurements, everything.
I tell him all the time, like, now that we done hit this NFT shit, this NFT new world that we in, right? With all this different shit. I tell him all the time, I send him mad shit. That's why yesterday on his birthday, I posted a picture, and I said, young living legend. And to some, to the average person, a lot of people, they look at some shit like that and be like, "Yo, you riding his dick," right? Because that's where we come from. A lot of weird negative shit. But I meant that, and I meant it because I be in the car with him. We'll ride around. We go eat at different places, and Dad be like, "Yo, I drew these logos for these companies. Oh, that's my logo right there. I made that. We'll go down the street. It's another motherfucking hair salon." He be like, "I made that."
If you ride, we could ride on the bridge and it'd be like that. That thing you see on the Ben Franklin, I made that. You know what I'm saying? So the podcasting is a different outlet, as an outlet for you to have conversations about your life, and then work might spill into it. But the creative portion, people, I'm not gonna say you could do foul shit and do it, but let's say I did something fucking foul, which I would never do. You could have a talent that's so sharp that people like, we got to call that nigga anyway. We need him. We just don't know nobody that can do a hyperrealism drawing or that can build this from the ground up. Like, so if you can be a good person, do fair business, and you got the talent, you always gonna be cool, bro. You always gonna be all right.
Give you your flowers, man, because I was, like I said, I was introduced to you through that show. And then when y'all had y'all falling out, and I wasn't a huge fan because we were, and there's no disrespect to them, it's just we were so busy doing us, didn't have time to pay attention to the outside world. But I definitely was aware of the show and you guys, and when you left, in those couple of episodes after, you seen the effect, and I'm like, wait a minute. It was something more important going on behind the scenes that we did not know about, that Devin Wade had his hand on. And I'm like, let me learn some more about this brother. And then I started learning different talents. I said, I got huge respect for that man. For sure. And then for him to come out of that and come literally like a rose out of concrete, man, it was an amazing thing to see. And then to be able to come to your studio and break bread with you on a personal level. Bro, you're an amazing dude. And for you to have people around you that love you and are just wrapped around you that are just as equally as amazing, y'all win.
That nigga living proof of the saying, they say, when you know, because Dev say, and he don't say he did everything or he did it all by himself. He say, hey, I co-created something. Correct. Or, I played my part in something. And my thing is, right, they say, when you say that you say shit like that, if you can do it once, then do it again. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that's exactly what Dev did. Because when Dev called me, and I was like, Dev, I don't know, because he already know where I was at. I was like, I don't know if I want to jump back in that. And Dev's just like, man, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'm doing it with you. You know what I mean? And I just was like, I already knew where he was at and where he was at in frustration. And as a man, trying to deal with that other shit. Because I know how I would be as a man trying to deal with just, a business situation that goes sour and really like not in your favor, and you feel like you've been
in his public.
Yeah, and it's public, and you feel like you've been unfairly done. Yeah. So I know where Dev was at with that. I know where he was at with the frustration with that, and I felt like the best thing at the end of the day, just rumbling with my thoughts in my head, I felt like the best thing for him to do was to move forward, and I felt like if I can help, you know what I'm saying, and we could get past this shit, because I ain't want to see my man get no bullshit, you know what I'm saying, and no bullshit come up out of this shit. I said, let's do it.
Yeah, because you got to remember, too, is like when you watching shows, right? We talked about this before. When we did our show, we didn't know what we was doing. If you watch the first, I think, 12 episodes of the Devin Wade Show, it's not called the Devin Wade Show. The title says that, but we didn't know what the podcast was called. Okay. So it would be like the podcast that has no name, because it was literally just winged. I had a vision for what I wanted, ordered a bunch of shit to put together, like the set, but we didn't have time to work that out. And at that time, it was when COVID was like brand new. Like we thought it was zombie apocalypse. Yeah. They was talking about we about to lock down everybody, and we was like, we gotta make all the episodes now. So we did 7 episodes on the first day, 5 episodes on the second day. Had 12 episodes. First 3 months, all pre-recorded. All pre-recorded, right? People sometimes, and that's why I said I don't jump at stuff the way like to opinion on camera, because like a fan might, because you don't know what happened. Even with my split with the old show, there was already a separation where we walked away for 2 weeks. The rant and all that stuff that happened, we were already done. So when you think something is just over with, like, dog, you went out your way, I went we all went our other ways. And then it gets reignited to a person, to the fans. It's like something just happened. No, I thought it was over. Y'all good? I'm good.
Right.
For the
people who don't know, share with our audience briefly, what was your role on the show that you came from?
Yeah.
And go through it for us.
So it's the same thing here. So in the beginning, in the beginning of the process of everything, I already knew those gentlemen I knew one of the gentlemen for over a decade. You know what I mean? But I built a podcast facility because I was already in that space. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I had a whole production facility. And at one point they came through to do some photography type stuff. And upon that, they saw what I was into with the radio portion and asked would I be able to produce a show for them. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I definitely could. Went through the whole set building process, design, cartoon, drawing, and all that type of stuff. And we just put together a joint, and I brought in my peoples that did camera work for me, brought him into the fold, and then we just created the show, but we did it in like a short form. You go and you shoot a 5-minute episode or whatever. And then after that, it was like, yo, this is a go. And then we jumped in and started doing our thing, dropping the episodes every week. So it was all collaborative. You know, everybody that was involved would throw out their ideas and what should we talk about? What should we do? You know, so for me, I never look at it like that's just something I did. It's like Porter Rich said. You play a role and we all played a role. You know what I'm saying? And now it just feels good to be able to do that in a space with, you know, my real peoples, my people that I hang with for real outside of the Jones. So it's a different love type situation. No
and people that appreciate
egos,
the nigga, man. Like it was just, to me, it was, you know, and not that like just to rehash nothing. But it is what it is.
Just know we're answering the question because it was asked. Like niggas don't give a fuck.
But at the end of the day, things be what they be, right? Things be what they be. And again, I said that, you know, the other day when I was talking on our podcast, like I don't like to talk about certain negative stuff, but certain stuff happens and people do things. And when you do something and it's wrong, and I speak on it, you gotta eat that. You gotta kind of like lay in that bed. I ain't tripping about nobody coming back. I'm speaking on it because it's wrong from the first motherfucking time. If anything, you need to learn something from it. I'm telling you the fuck is wrong. So if you think this wrong, then the fuck. Like
this is the craziest part about it, right? The reason why I don't trip, right? Now in the beginning you tripping.
Yeah.
No. In the beginning you like, what the fuck about this? You know what I mean? But because people aren't stupid, the general audience can have what I would call fits of stupidity. They stupid for moments, right? But people that are in the business that understand how all of this stuff works, they know there's other people involved in the production besides the two people. So if you watch Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and they're in a movie, you know that there's a whole bunch of people that made that movie happen, that it wasn't just Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. You know there's a director, right? You know there's a producer, right? So those things actually made my phone ring with people in power that say, yo, I saw that shit. Wow. We got you. We got this for you. We got you. We fuck with your work. Let's do this. So all those kind of calls and opportunities come, and it's situations where you don't even got to fight for an audience. You get government jobs doing this where the check is coming no matter what. So what people don't understand is that's the beauty of it, is if you just do the right shit and you keep your work solid, because they could see, even if your numbers is low, to respect like in the realm of a motherfucking podcast that's doing 2 million views. Yeah. You don't know who's watching your content. That's it. It only take one person with that got the power to put you in a certain situation to be watching that shit. You could be a nigga with 200 views, and that one person see that shit and say, oh, this motherfucker's good. Yeah. That's going to get you your shot, get you your check, get you your bag.
God don't make no mistakes, man. You know, shout to Conway, he just dropped that new project. God don't make no mistakes. I like that saying, right? And I just felt like Dev was highly, like, you know, unappreciated. The way it was painted, he was unappreciated. You understand what I'm saying? And everything happens for a reason, you know. And me and Dev, you know, we talk about things. We have a different view on something. We get it right. We like men. We sit down and we get it right. But the last thing I would ever want to lose, for real, is the friendships like Dev's. You know,
I'll lose this podcast nigga before I lose my people.
He a solid nigga, right? He's a solid nigga. He's a good friend, first and foremost, because that's the important shit. It ain't about what people could do for you. But at the end of the day, when you do have a friend who got all these motherfucking gifts and talents, right? It's like, me personally, I would never try to mistreat. I don't mistreat my regular friends who don't got shit they could do for me. You know what I mean? So it ain't just about that. But I'm just saying, when you do got a friend, I mean, you cherish it, bro. You give people, like you say, you give people their flowers.
You know,
people got talent.
You know what's crazy? You cherish it. What's wild is it's almost like a shift, right? Mm-hmm. So for years, you know, I design for people and stuff like that. Now I understand some people got brands. They're not going to let them know they paid you. First off, they paid you. If they paid you and you design something for them, you're doing it in the background. If you wrote a verse for somebody, you ghostwriting. You know, that's your job. But sometimes you'll collab on stuff with people and they'll kind of want to hide you in the background, right? And I've went through that with people that still to this day are my friends. I fuck with them. Don't get it twisted. I'm talking about they call me, I'm there. I understand the mindset of they kind of needed that light to be on them. But since this happened, I've had way more people that was not only willing to say, yo, come work with this, but say, we giving you all the credit you supposed to get.
That's what's up.
And you know, we talked about niggas like Omi and the Hellcat earlier. Omi and the Hellcat overly make sure niggas know, oh, Dev designed those Dev designed this. Dev
next question.
It's on the box.
Yo, word, like, no,
Yeah.
no, this is for real because that's important because there's a lot of people that might be watching this that are the behind the scenes person and you could get left behind because guess what? That on-screen talent, they look at it like, we can always swap you out.
Yeah.
You ain't nothing but a sound man, cameraman, button pushing nigga. To us, I'm a star, nigga. Right? That's how it would be. It don't matter who, if it's a celebrity, look at it like, man, I could get a new manager. You know how many managers got their artists to a deal and then got snipped?
Yeah.
I hear all the, Dev, I was doing this. I went and got this nigga a deal. Now he went and grabbed his homie that came home from jail and put him in my place. This is real. Like, this real shit. So what I'm saying
The
is,
nigga from jail fucked up the whole shit too. They'll tell you
no, it's real.
So
So what's crazy is, you know, when you do run into people that's now like, no, nigga, we gonna put your name on everything you do. So you gonna get your fair coin and we gonna give you your credits. And then that leads to you getting more shit. See, sometimes the reason why they don't want your name to be there is because they need you to need them forever.
Yeah.
See, if I never bring you to the production people that's higher up and they don't know you, you'll never have another production job. If I never bring you to these people, you'll never have another design job. You'll never have an option. Once I'm done with you, you'll never be able to go and work over there. It's too late now. Everybody know I know how to design this, design that, do this sound, build a set. So no matter what now, you gonna get that call. You feel me? Yeah.
Great minds. We got Devin Wade Show on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Y'all go ahead and hit that 5-star rating, hit that like button. Make a comment, man. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you're feeling about this episode right now, man. Definitely an honor to have y'all on the motherfucking show.
Yeah,
right
listen,
now.
we happy to be here.
Vibing.
Y'all
I
treat
see y'all
us
looking
like
at y'all.
love.
We don't got waitresses and shit. We
Yeah. See, listen,
listen,
they didn't tell us we could have brought nasty girls that to bring the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Can't have nasty girls. Our wives are too close to the goddamn studio.
Oh, okay. All right.
I ain't married,
Y'all
nigga.
can bring your own.
Now, that's why we be having to double check with our guests. When they come on our show, we gotta check a few things. Like, yo,
No, we do.
We're throwing money.
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
throw money on some asses. If we do that, it's like a ritual.
Yeah.
Some dudes be like,
Not a
"Rich,
ritual."
Some dudes be like,
It
"Rich."
is, but
They be like, "Dad, we'll watch," but
Yeah, and it's
I don't
crazy
even
too.
wanna-
Most of our, just like you know, when we talked about the perception of TV, our show is so like family oriented that even most of the time the girls you see twerking and all that, they not even strippers. They not even dancers.
No.
You'll see like Sin City. That was Chelsea Lee, you know, the girl that was DJing on our show. Shout out to Chelsea Lee too.
Shout out to
You know
her.
what I'm saying? That's her sister. So a lot of this, like I said, we put it together on a call. Let's get together. Who's some interested people? Let's come in here and do this pod. And people just played their role and was cool with it. And now you see like Monica Mulatto also talking on the Talk Heavy podcast because we building this network.
and she's
You know
on
what
the
I'm
come
saying?
up. She's funny as shit.
Yeah.
She's funny as
Show
shit.
some lady, she was over there when we was over there, right?
Monica.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she was on that. Yeah, but now she talk on the mic too. So we show like multi sides, you know, with people. If they think, oh, this person just standing, but nah, everybody got little things that they know how to do and that they into, and everybody cool with like playing a role and shit. You know, one day we gonna do a swap show. Wally gonna be a nasty girl. Porter Rich might be me and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll be Porter. You know what I'm saying? We gonna just jump in different positions and see how that shit, you know what I mean, pop off. They've been asking. They want to see Wally.
they've been wanting.
They
They've
want
been
Wally
wanting.
and some with the cheeks out.
It's the lingerie episode.
Yeah, we had like
Yeah, they craving for that very heavily.
Yeah, they've been asking for it heavy. They like, listen, we want to see her as a
One
nasty
day,
girl.
one day.
One of them parties, nigga. God damn, y'all do all this fun shit over there.
Yeah.
We got.
Hopefully this shit, if all this goofy shit clear, man, we trying to come outside and touch the people.
Yeah.
We want to come outside and touch the people. We want to come, maybe we could collab and do something outside up here. You know what I mean? So we could just move around. But we want to touch the people, bro, because, same thing with what y'all do. It's just real conversation, real people talking about real everyday shit that a lot of people love, especially when it comes to like music, hip hop. And we want to really touch them when we talking. Just come off the stage. Hey man, listen, what the fuck is up?
One thing with us, like
man.
we like, man, we grateful for everybody, man. That I still be like, damn, this many people tuned in to watch us talk about whatever we talking about, man. And we know at the end of the day, it's just us giving our opinions on stuff, share, and we do share. We tell our deepest, darkest.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be looking back at certain episodes. I'll be like, damn, I shared it because I'm very private. Like outside of before the podcast, I was very private. So me being this person on this show and really being vulnerable and transparent is like way outside.
Me like, okay.
Like I'll share some stories that I was just like. But women, they want to know honesty, right? They want to know, damn, yo, I've been through that too. So just knowing, you ain't the only one out there. We all going through the same shit.
And we get messages, man, and those messages be deep sometimes when you find out what you doing is actually bigger than what you thought. I recently got hit. Not even recently, today, I got a message and somebody told me they went through something where their brother died or whatever the case may be. And they was like, for real, that Devin Wade show and Talk Heavy podcast was what got me through. Where it's I'm still laughing at wild shit, even though I'm going through this crazy depression and everything like that. And when you give yourself, if every show is on average an hour, sometimes longer, right? And you telling all these stories about yourself, the people feel like they know you because they kind of do.
Yeah. Give them to them.
They kind of do. Yeah. They start knowing what your mom name might be. Who was this in your life? This person, whoever your school bully was. They start knowing every single thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope when somebody that's a fan of the show actually gets to walk, into our facility and they see shit and and to them, these things are like relics. Yeah. It's the wheel. Oh my God, I just touched that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And that, trust me, we not looking at that shit just being yeah, nigga. No. I'm so happy that people actually give a fuck.
It makes me uncomfortable sometimes.
Do it?
When people be like, "Oh my God, is she at your
last night it was oh my God, it's Waleska.
I know that stuff just makes me just say hi, what's up? I'll show love. I'm always it's just I get
at the mall, they ran down on us.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But the dude was like, I need the pic. He was like, but I'm sorry, Wally. He had a wife. He was like, I'm sorry.
He probably be saying stuff about Wally in the house, so he know I can't take the picture with Wally. I just need to take this picture with Porter and Dev. But it is dope when we go out. We have meetings. We go out to eat, and then them eyes is looking at something. Somebody spin around and me and my wife just watch y'all all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? But this is the thing that's crazy. We talking business.
Yeah.
Right. We talking about money. We splitting, we doing percentages. We doing that. Right. And you don't realize there's somebody that close ear hustling everything. They hearing all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But we appreciate the shit out of it, man. We love it, man.
We appreciate y'all, man. Definitely the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Thank y'all for y'all time. Thank y'all for y'all hospitality.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Y'all share a little bit of y'all story.
Fuck with this, man.
Yes, absolutely.
That barbecue chicken pizza.
That shit was good, bro. That shit was good. I had vegan wings over there, but I ate them all myself. I'm sorry. I hope anybody knows vegan.
Nah.
So how a nigga gonna tell you about some wings that he had?
That he already had. He said I had some vegan wings.
It's this nigga. He was like, yo, I had this, but not since y'all got here.
Next time, no. But now we appreciate y'all, man. Much love. Thank y'all so much, man. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Devin Wade Show on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast, man. We definitely
Hold up,
appreciate
drop your social medias real quick and all that. My bad. Yeah, drop your social
Listen,
media.
mine's is just at Devin Wade, and make sure for the show that you go to at the Devin Wade Show.
Yeah.
Mine's is at Waleska D. That's a capital D.
Right.
You know, push that follow button.
Yeah.
Mine's is at Porter Rich. Real easy. And listen, it's not Rich Porter. Rest in peace to the Harlem legend.
R.I.P.,
It's
yes.
not Rich Porter. And it's not Porter Rich.
It's not.
It's Porta, Porta,
Yeah.
R-I-C-H. And if you want, you could shorten it. You could just do Porter or you could just do Rich. Porter Rich, man. So,
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
Indeed, we out of here. Sam and Brown Hip Hop News. Oh God, Hip Hop News Uncensored. Together we the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Salute.
Peace.
Peace.
To introduce the show, when I sent this to Sam, asked, oh God, that nigga said, oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a clan mask, and I'm a hustler. I could stand out on the beach and sell sandbags. Some things can't last, but this ain't just a podcast. This is Sam Ant and oh God, Cass. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam Ant riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam Ant riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Go gang.